At 68, I sat in my doctor's office and heard words I'll never forget. "You're on the edge." My blood sugar was just shy of the diabetic line. I was constantly tired, my ankles were swollen, and no matter how much I drank, I was always thirsty. Now, for many people, this is the point where insulin enters the picture. And for a moment, I'll be honest, I thought that would be my path too. But I made a quiet promise to myself. Before I turned 70, I'd take back control. Not through fear, through action. And I started with the simplest thing: what I was drinking. See, after 60, every sip matters more than we think. It's not just what you eat, what you drink can either fuel your body or quietly feed the fire. Too many drinks marketed as healthy are loaded with hidden sugars, artificial junk, or chemicals that spike your blood sugar and drain your energy, especially for those of us over 60. But here's the hopeful part. The right drinks, natural, simple, consistent, can help your pancreas, support your metabolism, and calm those sugar spikes without relying on medication. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 drinks I personally added to my daily routine, backed by research, tested by time, and gentle on the body. If you're over 60, tired of the sugar roller coaster, or just want to avoid insulin for as long as possible, this might be the most important thing you watch today. Let's start with the most unassuming one: lemon water. Sounds almost too simple, right? Just warm water with half a lemon in the morning. But here's what surprised me. Not just as a physician, but as someone watching my own numbers, this little ritual became a reset button for the day. No fancy supplements, no complicated timing, just a warm glass first thing. You see, after 60, your liver doesn't bounce back the way it used to. And your metabolism? It's no longer the race car. It's the slow tractor on a cold morning. What lemon water does is gently wake everything up. It hydrates your system after a night's rest, supports liver detox, and, perhaps most importantly, it helps your body handle glucose more efficiently. I've seen patients replace their morning juice with lemon water, and within a few weeks, their post-breakfast glucose readings started to stabilize. That's not magic. It's biochemistry. Orange juice, even the natural kind, can carry more sugar than a soda. A small switch like this can drastically cut down your daily sugar load. And there's another quiet benefit: inflammation. Many of my patients wake up with stiff joints, knees that crack, fingers that won't bend. But after making lemon water a daily habit, they often report less stiffness, more ease in motion. Now, is that the lemon, the hydration, the anti-inflammatory effects of vitamin C? Probably a bit of everything. I always tell people, health after 60 doesn't come from grand overhauls. It comes from micro habits, done with intention. And lemon water is one of the most gentle, effective habits you can build. No sugar, no caffeine crash, just support for the organs that quietly keep you going. So now, I keep lemons in a bowl on the counter. Not as decoration, but as a reminder. Sometimes the smallest decisions, done every day, can bring the biggest changes. Next up is something I used to raise an eyebrow at: unsweetened green tea. Now, I'll admit, growing up in the South, tea to me meant sweet tea, poured over ice with more sugar than sense. So when I first heard about green tea helping blood sugar, I thought, that's not for me. But after 68, when your energy starts dipping in the afternoon and your glucose keeps creeping up, you get curious. I decided to try it. Just 1 cup after lunch, no sweetener, no honey, just the leaves and hot water. And to my surprise, it made a difference. Within days, I felt less bloated after meals, less foggy around 3 p.m., and, get this,
less hungry. It became my afternoon reset. Now, here's the science. Green tea is rich in a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. Sounds like a mouthful, I know, but what it does is remarkable. EGCG helps your body use insulin more effectively. Instead of sugar floating around in your bloodstream causing chaos, this tea helps escort it into your cells, where it belongs. It also works with your body, not against it. There's no sugar, no energy spike, no crash. Just a gentle nudge in the right direction. And because it only has a small amount of caffeine, it gave me the alertness I needed after lunch without robbing me of sleep later. That's important because poor sleep and poor blood sugar feed each other like bad roommates. Green tea helped me break that cycle. Now it's part of my daily rhythm. I keep a jar of brewed green tea in the fridge, right next to the milk. I sip it cold in the summer, hot in the winter. It's not a trendy drink to me. It's a quiet ally. And yes, the taste took some getting used to. At first, it was bitter. But just like cutting back on sugar, your taste buds adapt. And your body? It starts to thank you. No pills, no powders, just leaves and water. If you're trying to stay off insulin, remember this. You don't need to fight your body, just give it what it's asking for. And sometimes, it's asking for something as simple and ancient as a cup of tea. Let me tell you, apple cider vinegar was the one that almost didn't make the cut. When someone first told me to drink vinegar, I laughed. You mean the stuff that smells like pickles? You want me to sip that? But when I read about its impact on blood sugar, especially post-meal spikes, I figured, what do I have to lose? So I started small. 1 tablespoon in a tall glass of water about 15 minutes before dinner. The taste? I won't lie, it's an acquired one. But the results? That's what kept me coming back. You see, vinegar slows down how fast your body absorbs sugar after a meal. Think of it like a gatekeeper, holding back the rush of glucose into your bloodstream. And for someone like me who still enjoys a serving of rice or potatoes now and then, that buffer made a big difference. I noticed that after meals, I didn't feel that heavy crash anymore. No more nodding off at the dinner table. No more dragging myself into the living room like I had bricks in my shoes. My numbers began to smooth out. Less roller coaster, more quiet country road. But the real surprise? It helped control my cravings. I used to be a nighttime snacker. I'd wander into the kitchen just to look around. You know how that goes. But after adding this vinegar drink to my evening routine, I felt full longer. The itch for cookies or a sweet bite faded. Slowly, yes, but it faded. Now, not all vinegars are created equal. The one I use is raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with what they call the mother. Sounds odd, but it's actually the cloudy stuff packed with good bacteria and enzymes. That's the real gold. I don't dress it up. No honey, no syrup. Just water and vinegar. If you're new to this, start with a teaspoon and ease into it. Your stomach will thank you. And no, this isn't magic. I don't treat it like a miracle cure, but I do treat it with respect. Because, in my experience, the things that feel a little uncomfortable at first, they're often the very things our bodies need most. 1 glass, 1 evening, 1 quiet choice. That's how real change begins.
Now here's one that surprised even me. Cinnamon tea. Like most folks, I used to think cinnamon belonged on toast or in oatmeal, not in a teacup. But after 68, when your blood sugar starts creeping and your joints start speaking louder than you'd like, you begin to look at simple things differently. A neighbor, mid-70s, sharp as a tack, told me about it. She simmered a cinnamon stick in hot water, added a little lemon, and drank it like a ritual after dinner. I was skeptical, but curious, so I tried it. And to my quiet astonishment, within 2 weeks, my morning glucose numbers became more stable, less spike, more steady. Now let's talk science, briefly. Cinnamon contains natural compounds that mimic insulin. They help sugar in your blood move into your cells more efficiently. That means fewer sugar highs, fewer lows, and a gentler rhythm throughout your day. For me, it became my evening sweet replacement. No cookies, no pie, just a warm cup that felt comforting and satisfying. It's naturally sweet, without a gram of sugar. Even better, it helped settle my stomach. After heavy meals, that cinnamon tea soothed the bloating and that overfull, sluggish feeling that used to hit me like a freight train at night. And here's something you might not expect. My joints felt better. Cinnamon is rich in antioxidants and has mild anti-inflammatory effects. I won't claim it fixed everything, but it sure made tying my shoes in the morning feel a little less like a chore. I use Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon. It's milder and safer for long-term use than the more common cassia variety. The recipe? Just simmer 1 stick in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. Let it cool slightly, sip it slow. That's it. No sugar, no honey, no marketing hype, just the spice, the warmth, and the habit. And sometimes that's all you need. A small ritual that feels good, tastes good, and does good. When you're over 60, it's not about chasing miracles. It's about finding quiet allies. Little daily choices that keep the wheels turning, the sugar steady, and the body saying, thank you.
Now, let's talk about something I once thought was just a health fad: chia water. You've probably seen it, those tiny seeds floating in a glass like little jelly bubbles. I used to think, that looks like bird food. But at 68, when you're trying to manage blood sugar without medication, you start looking at every tool on the table. And chia? It turned out to be a powerful one. Here's how I do it. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds in a big glass of filtered water. Let it sit for about 15 minutes until it thickens, then sip it slowly in the afternoon. Yes, the texture is different, like a soft gel. But once I got used to it, I started noticing something remarkable. First, it kept me full. I used to feel those afternoon snack cravings, salty, sweet, anything I could grab. But when I drank chia water around 2 or 3 p.m., those cravings vanished. It was like my stomach finally got the message, we're good. Second, and this is the big one, it helped stabilize my blood sugar. Chia is packed with soluble fiber, and when soaked, it forms a gel-like barrier that slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. That means fewer sugar spikes after meals, less insulin demand, and more stable energy throughout the day. It also helped with something most folks don't talk about enough after 60: digestion. Instead of that heavy, bloated feeling I used to get after lunch, I felt lighter, more regular, more, well, comfortable. And when your digestion is happy, Everything else seems to run smoother too. Mood, sleep, even joint pain. And here's another hidden gem. Hydration. Those little seeds hold water like tiny sponges. So not only are you getting fiber, you're helping your body absorb and retain the water it needs to flush out excess sugar, support the kidneys, and cushion the joints. Now, I keep a jar of chia seeds right next to my coffee. It's part of my daily rhythm. Simple, affordable, no blender required. Some days I'll add lemon or cucumber, but most days it's just the basics. It's funny how something so small can have such a big effect. Not a gimmick, not a magic bullet, just a quiet helper hiding in plain sight. And if you're over 60, trying to avoid insulin, and wondering where to begin, sometimes it starts with one glass, one seed, one habit.
Now this next one might sound a bit old-fashioned, but barley water turned out to be one of the most valuable drinks in my routine. I'll be honest, I didn't grow up with barley, but a friend of mine from Trinidad told me, back home, whenever someone was sick or run down, we made barley water. He called it cooling to the body. And you know what? He was right. I gave it a try. Just boil pearl barley in water, strain the liquid, and drink it warm or chilled. No sugar, no flavoring, just barley and water. And within a few weeks, I noticed something subtle but real. My post-meal blood sugar numbers were smoother. No big spikes, just a gentle rise and fall. Now, here's the science behind it. Barley is rich in a special type of fiber called beta-glucan. Think of it like a sponge. It slows down how quickly sugar and cholesterol are absorbed in your gut. That's gold for someone trying to manage both A1C and triglycerides. But it didn't stop there. Barley water also helped calm my inflammation. At my age, it's not unusual to wake up with swollen ankles or stiff fingers. But after a few weeks of sipping barley water daily, especially with lunch, I felt lighter, less puffy, less sore. And here's something no blood test will show you. It helped with fullness. I noticed on days I drank barley water, I wasn't prowling the kitchen after lunch, searching for something sweet. It helped extend the satisfaction of the meal. And for someone trying to break the habit of over-snacking, that's huge. Nowadays, I make a small batch each morning. Boil a handful of barley in water, strain, and pour it into a pitcher. Sometimes I add a slice of lemon or a cinnamon stick. Most days, I just drink it plain. It's part of my routine now. Quiet, steady, like a background rhythm to my day. It doesn't shout, it doesn't promise miracles, but it supports. And when you're over 60, that's exactly what you need. Gentle, daily support. Nobody ever told me about barley water when I was younger, but I'm glad I found it now. It's old-school wisdom backed by modern science, and for my health, it's one tradition worth keeping. And now, we come to the simplest, most overlooked, and believe it or not, the most powerful drink of them all. Plain water. I know, it sounds obvious, but as someone who spent decades working with older adults and lived through his own health wake-up call, I can tell you, most people over 60 are quietly dehydrated and don't even know it. For years, I was one of them. I'd start the day with coffee, maybe have some soda at lunch, and a glass of juice with dinner. Real water? Maybe 1 cup, maybe none. And then I'd wonder why I felt so tired, so foggy, so achy, like I was dragging a heavy coat I couldn't take off.
What I didn't realize was that dehydration isn't always about thirst when you're older. Sometimes it looks like joint pain. Sometimes it's a headache that won't go away. Sometimes it's a random blood sugar spike that leaves you feeling defeated, even though you ate clean all day. What changed for me was simple. I started tracking how much water I drank. Not obsessively, just enough to notice. And the moment I brought consistency into that habit, I started feeling different, lighter, more clear-headed. My skin looked better. My blood sugar evened out. There's science to back this too. When your body is low on water, your liver actually holds on to glucose longer as a backup energy source. That creates a dangerous feedback loop. More sugar in the blood, more pressure on your kidneys, more inflammation. Water breaks that loop. It supports the kidneys so they can flush out excess sugar. It cushions the joints so you can move without pain. It calms the body's internal fire. These days, I drink a full glass first thing in the morning, before food, before anything else. Then I sip through the day. No flavored additives, no gimmicks, just clean, steady hydration. And here's what I always tell my patients. If you're trying to stay off insulin, don't underestimate water. It may not come in a bottle with a label or a claim, but it gives your body exactly what it's been asking for. Sometimes healing doesn't start in the pharmacy. It starts with what's in your glass, what's on your counter, what you reach for without even thinking. Because when you choose water, you're choosing clarity, consistency, and kindness to your body. And at our age, that's not just a health strategy. That's a form of self-respect.
I didn't get here overnight. At 68, I had warning signs, swollen joints, sugar numbers climbing. Mornings where just putting on socks felt like work. There were days I stared at my pill organizer and thought, is this it? Is this the rest of my life? But I also had a choice. And that choice didn't require money, miracle cures, or perfect willpower. It just asked me to start small. To make quiet, consistent decisions, one glass at a time. Every drink I've shared with you today, lemon water, cinnamon tea, chia, barley, even plain old water, became more than just a beverage. They became commitments. To stay sharp, to move without pain, to show up for the people I love and for the man I still want to be. And if you're listening to this, if you felt that same tiredness, that same question in your gut, is it too late for me? Let me tell you with every fiber of truth I have, it is not too late. Your body is still listening. It still wants to heal, and even now it will respond to kindness, consistency, and care. So don't wait for perfect timing. Start today. Pour that glass of water, swap the soda for tea, make one change, then another. Because you're not broken. You're not behind. You're just ready. If this message spoke to you, if even one drink here gave you hope, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep walking this path together, because real health doesn't come in a rush.